Hello, guys. My name is Amina, and I'm gonna share part 2 of my testimony. Let's get right into it. Okay, so before starting anything, if you didn't watch part 1, it's very important that you watch it because you're gonna have the backstory of everything that I'm gonna mention here in this video. So if you didn't, pause that video, go watch part 1, and come back to this one later. Thank you. As I previously mentioned, I'm coming from a Muslim family and I'm originally from Mali as well. So, in that kind of culture, there is a mix and match of the actual culture, of religion, which is Islam, and witchcraft, unfortunately, like many other countries in Africa and everywhere else, to be fair. Basically, this reflected in the household, as in, from my dad's side, he was religious and he was into this kind of witchcraft. They like incantations, writing stuff with repetitions. So petitions with repetition, also making some kind of potions. He was into astronomy, so the planets and stuff like that. I remember he had crystals here and there in his room as well, and I wasn't really understanding what it was at the time, but I kind of understood that it was a bit dark and not good, if I may say. So that's from my dad's side. And from my mom's side, it was a bit similar with the incantations and potions. I was seeing potions in the bathroom. We were to do some kind of spiritual bath when she requested it, and without necessarily understanding what we were doing, but we had to just follow instructions. She was into tarot card as well. She owned multiple decks of cards and she would do readings for herself, for other family members, ladies mainly, but other family members. And also she had cowrie shells. I'm going to put it up there if you don't know where it is, but she had cowrie shell and she would do reading in it as well. And she had a book. I remember she purchased the book for her to learn more into reading this stuff. I have memories here and there of us doing some kind of rituals with her where we would go to certain places, put stuff in the ground, like in the dirt in the ground and stuff like that. So I kind of have memories of us partaking in some kind of rituals with her without understanding what we were doing. So that's kind of what I grew up in, on top of what was going on that I mentioned previously. So, also on top of this, astrology and zodiac sign was a big theme in the household. Not in depth, but I was exposed to knowing my zodiac sign, quote unquote, at the time, and the ones from the family member. I remember we each had a mug, like a coffee mug with signs and descriptions of the zodiac sign in it for each family member. So it was present. We didn't know it in depth, but it was present. So that's the only thing growing up that I stuck up to. So yeah, I got interested. Like, I picked up interest in zodiac signs. So yeah, everything else I did not necessarily understand, but zodiac sign, that's what got my interest. So fast forward, now that I'm exposed on the internet world, I'm looking into zodiac sign more in depth. So now I'm looking into my sign, what I thought was my sign, the characteristics, the way this sign is supposed to behave and stuff like that. The thing is, now I know this now, but there is a spirit behind each and every one of them. That's a whole video in itself. So if you want me to go into details about the demonic aspect of zodiac sign and astrology and all this kind of stuff, I'll gladly do so. Just leave a comment for this, and even if you don't leave a comment, I will definitely do a video on this later down the line to focus on the subject. So basically, yeah, I was coming into agreement slowly but surely with the characteristics of that sign, and I was like living my life off of the characteristics of the sign. So that was pretty much it. And also being on the internet, I was exposed to birth charts. I was exposed on birth charts. So that's a whole like it's deeper than zodiac signs because it has to do with your date of birth, the full date of birth, including the hour and including the area, the zone where you were born in the country, the city. All of this matters according to them to know what is your purpose, like to see what you're supposed to do here on earth. Basically, if I can put it in a nutshell, that's what it's supposed to mean. So I got exposed to this and I started, quote unquote, understanding some stuff about what happened in the past, some stuff about what I was to experience later down the line. So I got exposed to this kind of stuff and embraced it and came into agreement with the spirit behind it. So fast forward again, now that I'm having like I'm growing up, I have friend groups, I have boyfriends and stuff like that. So I'm looking into these people's signs and I'm looking into the compatibility between us and stuff like that to see who I can match with, who I'm not gonna match that much with. It's a whole thing, guys. It's a whole thing. Like the moment you're sucked up into it, it's a whole thing. All your life and your life choices revolves around this when it comes to relationship in my case. So basically I was picking boyfriends according to their signs, not in the first place, but as soon as I knew that I have some kind of interest, I will try and get their date of birth so I can calculate their zodiac sign. And if I can go in depth and get the hours and stuff like that, I will look into their birth chart to see if we were to match. So keep that in mind. That's very, very, very important. This kind of mix and match for an actual partner that started from a young age onwards, because this is the root of a long issue. So now that I'm like navigating my life and doing whatever I was doing, including the zodiac sign stuff, I was not really that deep into like spirituality. As I mentioned before, I've put everything in one box, but I was interested in zodiac sign and stuff like that, but I wasn't following it religiously. I was checking every now and then when I remember my sign and like the horoscopes and stuff like that. But as far as spiritually concerned, I was deep asleep. I was unaware of many, many, many stuff. Now that I'm a young adult, let's go to the around 2018, 2019, those years when I started being exposed to entrepreneurship, as I mentioned before. And now that I'm in this MLM group, that's where things started to shift and I started picking interest in stuff that has to do with new age and new thought. And I wasn't aware of this until now. So basically, in this MLM group for trading, they had a package where they had like 500 euros worth of books in that program that was given to you. I believe I still have those books till this day, in Dropbox or whatever. And in those books, there were books on learning technical analysis and all the stuff that has to do with finances, exactly like the trading, the way you trade and whatever. But there was mindset books. I'm going to label them as mindset books. It was Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, I believe the name of the book is, and all this kind of stuff. It was all this kind of books that were in this. So I was to read those books. So I'm not gonna lie to you, I did not read them in full. I just like read it quickly, and I looked on videos on YouTube to summarize it and stuff like that. But basically that was supposed to like reprogram your mindset. There was also a book, I don't remember the name and the author, but it was a book to reprogram your mind basically. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. Didn't look too deep into it, honestly. It was just there and you were supposed to read it in order to follow the program and whatever. So that's, you know what, that's ways this can creep in your life, to be fair. So keep an eye out on any business opportunity that comes your way. Not all of them are to be taken. Be careful out there, guys. It was not even worth it anyways. Basically, I have these books and stuff like that, so I'm in the group, I'm trying to follow what was going on, I'm trying to learn trading and stuff like that, I'm posting online and stuff. But I can see that there is emphasis on recruiting people more than learning trading, so I gave up completely. I gave up and moved on with my life, but I'm still interested in like entrepreneurship. That didn't take that away from me. So carry on with my life, traveled, as I mentioned before, traveled, lived the nightlife and stuff like that. And summer 2019, I'm traveling to Malta because a friend of mine that was doing drop shipping and I was successful in it invited me there. So I got there. It was a villa. It was that kind of lifestyle that is basically what they're portraying to you, that you want, like the rich kind of lifestyle that you desire, quote unquote. So got there and got, it was in collaboration with many other guys. Well, many, no, it was two of them, I think. They were collaborating on the project, on working on something together. So when I got there, they were all there and they were sharing the mindset stuff that they were doing. And I remember one night we had an open conversation, all of us, and they were explaining to me stuff about like how to reprogram your mindset with like subliminal messages, like audio messages, or watching videos explaining how vibration works and stuff like that. I remember that's when I got introduced to Bob Proctor's theories and stuff like that. I'm going to put it out there because I don't necessarily remember what it was about. And all I remember is that they were explaining about the function of vibration, the way we humans, quote unquote, are vibrational being, and the vibration we are on the scale, this scale, determines what we are and determine what we do attract or not in our lives. And I was like, whoa, this is deep, this is serious, you know. And then got exposed to the movie The Secret, and watching that movie is literally what changed everything. This was the catalyst for me to jump into New Age, basically. I jumped into New Age because mainly of that movie. So basically, in the movie, if I can put it in a nutshell, it's basically that you can attract what you want according to the vibration, according to the visualization. That literally makes you think that you have the capacity to attract in your life what you desire if you are on a good vibration level. So me embracing this, as that started explaining, quote unquote, the negative stuff I've been through before, and I was like, okay, so I need to raise my vibration higher. I need to rise and have the most positive vibration, which is love, quote unquote. And I need to just like clean my own energy in order to attract what I'm supposed to attract in my life, what I desired. So that's when I started understanding how to make a vision board and all this kind of stuff. All of this is explained in the movie. So slowly but surely I was shifting. I was literally shifting in that direction. And keep in mind, guys, I was looking for the truth because all I've been exposed to my whole life was lies. It was a whole bold fat lie that I was exposed to. So this sounded like the truth. This sounded like, oh wow, okay, I found it. That's the truth actually, which was it wasn't. It clearly wasn't. So it was just, yeah, it clearly wasn't. It was just a deception. It was a deception. So basically, now that I'm exposed to all of this, finished the trip, got back home, and I picked up interest in e-commerce drop shipping. So basically, I found this training online from that guy, and it was mixing up the same practices. It was encouraging to do a vision board, to have goals and to have a vision board so we can actually put in the work and follow the program and stuff like that. So I did a vision board with like cars, with like some kind of summer body. I think it was a celebrity that I've put there because I wanted to have a similar body to her. I've put like a mansion. I've put all this kind of like worldly stuff, deeply worldly, rich stuff that quote unquote I was trying to attract in my life. I did not attract any of this. So yeah, basically, yeah, so I did this vision board thingy, and I tried to follow the program, try to reprogram my mind, quote unquote, every day, listening to positive affirmation, visualizing, doing some kind of meditation and stuff like that. So basically, I'm doing this like pretending that I'm trying to have a better vibration, but I'm still living a very low vibrational life. I'm still going out, I'm still partying, I'm still drinking, I'm still having relations with people and stuff like that. So my behavior is not changing. I'm thinking that I'm going in a good direction and raising up my vibration and stuff like that, but that's the complete opposite. I'm still going deeper and deeper and deeper in darkness. So I was still like in this kind of circle and this kind of mindset, but it was on the surface, like throughout the rest of 2019 up until beginning of 2020. I was in it. I was 1 foot in, 1 foot out of this whole new age, new thoughts situation. I wasn't fully in there. I was aware but not fully in there, if I can explain. So now, as I mentioned before, decided to move out to Malta. So 2020, beginning of 2020, March 2020, I'm in Malta, like settling down slowly but surely. That was in March 2020. They announced COVID, so all this stuff that I was doing I had to stop, and I had to work fully remote from home for my friend that I visited that is in drop shipping. So I'm working for him, and I'm trying to work on my own e-commerce at the same time. From March to June, I was just randomly living and doing whatever and not too deep into new age. However, I was being exposed. I was starting to be exposed to crystals, and I started being exposed to like auras, chakras, and all this kind of stuff that started coming up to the picture. I can't remember exactly how, but I believe it was with the algorithm as I was looking for vibration and stuff like that. And I needed to understand, like, if you are not on the proper vibration, like, how do you do to get on the proper vibration? I had questions, and that's where the chakras came in the picture. And that's when the crystals came in the picture, because it's all intertwined together. So now that I'm learning more about the way crystal works, on which chakra I'm on a low vibration, so I need to do such and such, I need such and such crystal. So I started gathering information. I started like learning crystals. I started taking notes and learning about crystals and stuff of that nature. And now that we're done with the learning, I need to practice. So I started looking online for a crystal shop not far from my house. There was one. I believe it was maybe less than 10-minute walking distance from my place. So one day I'm just going there to check what they have, to check if they have the crystals I'm looking for. And also I've checked how to cleanse those crystals. So some were incense, some were sage. I was supposed to cleanse the space with sage as well. So I was looking for sage. And yeah, basically, so that was a witchcraft shop. Let's call it what it is. It was a witchcraft shop. So I ended up in this witchcraft shop, and I built a whole basket that was quite expensive, to be fair. So I bought crystals, sage, incense, and stuff like that. And when I was on the shop, I stumbled across a tarot card deck, and I don't know, I was just drawn to it, so I decided to just take it and add it to my basket. So took the cards, didn't know how to do any readings, didn't have any kind of knowledge in that, but I just took it. So now that I'm in the house and I've did the research, the necessary research on internet and stuff like that, I'm supposed to cleanse and charge the crystal, which I did. Some were with the sun, some were with the moon, whatever. So I followed the instructions that was there, and I had to cleanse my own energy. So I was supposed to take a salt bath. I didn't have a bath back then, so it was a salt shower because I didn't have, yeah. So I did, and I was supposed to cleanse my space. So, sorry guys, just thinking about this is just ridiculous. But I was supposed to cleanse the space with sage and stuff like that. So I burned sage everywhere, opened the windows, opened the door. According to what they said, it was supposed to get all the bad energy away. That's the actual opposite, guys. It's just bringing spirits. It's not taking spirits away. It's bringing spirits. It's another video itself. I will do it. I cleansed the space, whatever, and I've looked online to do a reading with the cards that I had, and I believe it was a 12 card reading or general reading to have a general overview of whatever situation you're trying to look into. Side note, these things are very real. They're not that powerful. Like, let's make it very clear. Only God, only Jesus holds the ultimate power. So these things, these spiritual beings in the heavenly places, they do have capacity and knowledge. They have the ability to reveal spiritual stuff to you, and they actually are using the spiritual knowledge to manipulate you into going deeper in darkness and taking the wrong decisions. The end goal is to destroy you. Satan disguised himself as an angel of light, and Satan is here to steal, kill, and destroy. So it does look like it's good, is telling you what you want to hear, but bottom line is trying to destroy you. So don't do that. God is very, very clear that you're not supposed to dabble in this kind of stuff. I'm going to put all the scriptures there that you need to refer to that has to do with this kind of practices. I'm going to put them in the description so you can, in your own Bible study time, look into it. Anyways, all this to say that it literally showed me the situation I was in, the situation I was escaping from, the toxicity, the manipulation, the sexual immorality, and all kinds of nonsense. And basically showed me the behavior of people in my family and my own behavior. And as I mentioned, what led me into traveling to live in another country was a big argument, a big fight that I had with one of my family member, which was my mom. And actually, after that whole tarot card reading, I remember crying, bawling out, but I wasn't like, I felt bad. It wasn't even a good feeling. I felt just bad. So I called her and apologized for everything that I did, everything that caused her trouble and stuff like that. I just apologized and stuff like that. And after that, I didn't carry on with my life. I stopped working for my friend. We parted ways, so I stopped working for him. So now I don't necessarily have a proper job. I still have income. The kind of income I had was from this site that I mentioned before, and I was meeting with guys and stuff like that. I'm not proud of that, but that's how I was making money. I had the main source of income on a monthly basis, but I also was making extra money meeting with these people as well. So basically that was it, and then I met new friends that I made there that was French speakers as well. So we started doing the nightlife together because yes, it was COVID, but Malta was another story. We had a break from March to maybe July, August ish, but then they reopened everything. They literally decided to reopen the clubs, reopen the bars, and stuff like that. It was a bit different. Like, they kind of made a rule where you needed to be seated at the table, you could not be on the dance floor and whatever, but it was just open. So it was pointless. Basically, the rule was pointless. We're still meeting with many people. There's no mask, there's no nothing. It was just, we're there. So basically, I still live the nightlife. I was still living a very low vibrational life. I was still having relations with people and stuff like that. So basically, I was pretending and trying to be spiritual according to them, but I was still living in darkness, very much in darkness. So as I'm doing research on the internet on how to do some readings and stuff like that, I come across like professional witches. I'm gonna call them professional witches. They are doing themed readings, which is like 7 days, 10 days, 3 days, or on a specific season, or about like family matters, about relationship, whatever the case may be. But there is team reading. So I remember I selected maybe 2 or 3 at a time, like girls that was doing readings that I matched with. So I was watching those readings like religiously from that point, from beginning of 2021 onwards. I was just watching all the time. I was doing my own readings, I was doing ritual. So in the course of watching this, I got exposed to candle magic. So I started doing candle magic as well. So candle has to do with like colors and whatever you're trying to attract. So it's a whole circle. It all circles around the same thing. Like the colors, the way they use the colors with the chakras, with the crystals and stuff like that. It's something that works together. It's not good, guys. It's not good. And it works together. So basically, I started doing this kind of stuff, doing some kind of rituals and whatever. And in the course of doing this, I'm doing a reading, and I was really trying to look into the source of the root of all my problems. And as I told you, they are trying to sow discord and try to destroy. So basically, that thing was telling me that my mom was the problem, and she was the one that did some kind of witchcraft, some kind of ritual in order to destroy me. I was thinking that I was into white magic and that I was not trying to harm anyone, and that's the main issue right there. It's designed to make you think that you're not hurting anyone. So why would it be bad if you're not hurting anyone? You just doing white magic, and other people, they're doing black magic, they're trying to cause harm. So that's the trap, that's the main trap right there. So basically, it all pointed to her, and that, like, basically that started like planting a very terrible seed in me, and I started resenting her. I was like, okay, so she's the cause of all the issue that I've been through, if you include what I've mentioned in the first video, the abuse and stuff like that, and nobody was backing me up anyway. So all this mixture of toxicity planted a very, very bad seed in me. So I started being exposed to spirit guides, which is just familiar spirits. Oh man, there is so much videos that I need to make on this whole subject, but there is like this deception with like familiar spirits literally disguising as spirit guides. I remember that, like, I came across a meditation video on YouTube to meet my spirit guide, basically. So you go into the meditative stage, you do all of that, and I kid you not, when I'm doing this meditation, I got led into some kind of very dark, watery cave, like rock cave. And in the middle of that cave was my dad. I saw my dad. For reference, I forgot to mention, I'm very sorry about that. My dad passed away. It was, I don't remember the year. I believe it was 2013. Should have, maybe 2013 or later down the line, but my dad passed away. So basically, that's what they were saying in the spirit, like before. That's what they were saying, that that could be a member, family member that passed on, and whatever the case may be. So in my own case, I saw my dad, and as soon as I saw him, like basically in that kind of vision and meditative state that I was in, it was sitting down on the cave, and I saw him, and I went for to give him a hug. And then when I woke up from that meditative state, I just cried. I was just crying and crying and crying, but I wasn't feeling good. It was not a good cry. It was just, I was just there. Now that I'm thinking about it, that did not make me feel good. That didn't necessarily make me feel good at that time. And now, fast forward, as I mentioned, that caused a lot of trouble when I was in Malta for other people and myself. So I had to leave. Now that I moved back home, at that time, my mom traveled in my home country during that summer. So when I came back in the family house, she was not there. So basically, my main goal when I reached the house was to cleanse the old energy of the house. So I burned sage in the whole house, and I was ready to fight, literally, not physically fight, but I was ready to fight spiritually, because now I felt like I had the knowledge that was missing before. So basically, I was ready to defend myself spiritually. So I was not gonna have anything. I wasn't gonna let anything slide, because my mindset was that everything that I've did so far, traveling, going to south of France and going to Malta, trying to build a business, trying to do my stuff, all of this failed because of her. That was my mindset. So I was ready. I was ready. So came in the house, tried to cleanse the whole space. And as I mentioned, I wanted to be a DJ, so I started doing a studio setup in my room so I can start recording DJ videos and stuff like that. And by the time I did this, I think it took me 2 weeks or so, and then she came back. And I was very cold, very distant when she came back. I wasn't doing much in the house. I was supposed to do the cooking, the cleaning, and stuff like that. I wasn't doing it. And you have to understand also that in the household, the climate was bad, because everybody in the household kind of had issues with one another. So it was literally a very divided home. It was a divided home. And on top of this, I had my own issue when I came back in the house. So it was dark. It was really dark. So basically, I wasn't gonna do anything, because it was in my own head. It was everybody's for themselves. It's a house where everybody's just doing whatever. Everybody's just living for themselves. So why would I cook for everybody? Why would I do anything in the house anyways? Because everybody's just thinking about themselves in the house anyways. So that was the climate, for you to understand. So she came back, and after 1 week, she noticed that I wasn't really into anything that has to do with the house. I was outside of the house most of the time, or in my room, locked in my room, doing music and doing tarot cards readings and whatever the case may be. I think one day she overheard like me watching readings and stuff like that, and she saw the screen as well, very important for later. And one day she confronted me. She was like, what's going on? You're not doing anything in that house. And it was not it was not really a respectful exchange of words and stuff like that. So she came in very aggressive, which added to the problem. So I was trying to quote unquote protect my energy. So my initial response was, if we're not gonna have a conversation, a respectful conversation where you address me with respect and I address you with respect, we don't have a conversation. We don't need to have any kind of conversation. I do not want to talk to you if it's going to be disrespect. I shouldn't have said that. This sentence right there caused problems. It caused issues, and it escalated so quick. We got into a huge argument. She wanted to fight me. Basically, she literally just wanted to fight me and stuff like that. Me, I didn't want to hit her. Nothing like that. I did not want to. Even if I was angry and whatever, one thing that I've said to myself is I'm never gonna raise my hand on her. Never in a million years I will do that. I was angry. I was ready not to speak ever again, but I wasn't gonna hit her. That's not something that I wanted to do. I want to make this very, very clear. So basically, we got into this. So my brother had to come and separate us. My little sister that has grown a little bit more, she tried to separate as well the issue. So we got into it, so it was so deep, and that's where I started saying that I knew what she did. I knew that she was doing some kind of witchcraft for me to fail and stuff like that. And she was aware. She had like quote unquote spiritual knowledge. So she was like, if even if you do manage to get rich the way you want to be rich, it's going to be cursed money. You're going to be cursed, blah 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 blah. So it was like this kind of exchange. At some point my life was threatened. Like I don't know, I think something came over her. Like literally she wanted to, I'm gonna write it down because I don't want to YouTube to strike that video. But yeah, so that basically that's what happened.